Okay, hi guys. Right, so this is 242. 242 is just very much a theory question. There are no numbers here. So again, as usual, I'm sure you've read through this thing. What you have here is a company that is known for using environmentally friendly cleaning services, and they do a number of jobs. There's sort of one-off contracts, regular cleaning contracts, and so because of this, you have very unique contracts sometimes. So it's very difficult to find similar contracts in the market, because if you like, restaurants are different and the products they're using quite different as well. But at least they can have some idea, but it'll still be tricky. It says that what they currently use is a cost plus pricing, and they're thinking that it might be a good thing to consider target costing. So this is all really about the theory of target costing, really, to sort of see how we use this. So in terms of getting the sequence right, as you can imagine, it would make, I think what I can do here is, I can sort of do this. In terms of getting a target, as you can imagine, it would make sense to first of all understand what it is you're trying to get the target cost for, right? So it would make sense to sort of define the service. We ought to do it in any other way. And like you said, you notice what I said the other time. It's really even the fact that you're setting the target. It's the fact that is the market price. Typically, it's the market price. There's nothing you can do about it. So typically, price would come next, and then you would then decide. Well, this is if you look at the question we did before, prior to this, literally the previous question, the next task would be, well, what is the relevant? What profit is it that we're looking for? What profit are we hoping to derive from this picture? And when you derive that profit, you then know what that is. You're like, okay, we now know what the profit is. Then you now work together to sort of, you see where your current, you then find your current cost situation, and therefore you're able to determine, when I say you get the market price, take away the profit from that market price, then you now have the target cost that you want to achieve. You now compare that to your actual cost. So your A is the right answer here. Then this says here, which two of the following correctly explain the difficulties, especially in the service industry? Well, typically, in a way, they almost sort of made this easy for you, because they say the service is standardized easily. It's very difficult to standardize. We just saw that situation where you have this business trying to clean out a specialist restaurant or a hotel or whatever it is. These unique scenarios. You cannot easily standardize the service. It says the service can be defined too easily. That again, it just almost gives you a chance here, because you cannot standardize services. They're very difficult. The standard is used. So there's some words I'm going to write down now. Yes, the standard is used at the same time, and the other thing is you cannot store. It's not like a product where you can store and you then sort of know what the actual cost is, that sort of thing. It's very difficult. It's not like materials, like job costing, where we're building something and we have work in progress and all of this. So this is the problem with target costing. So the 4 key words I want you to be comfortable with from this topic, definitely that you must do, but we're in revision mode now, is that target costing. There are 5 characteristics of services that make target costing more difficult in the service industry, and that's number 1, intangibility. So please go back and look at these words. Simultaneity, which is the fact that as you're using the product, or if you like, as you're producing it, you're using it. So it's being done at that time. It's not like you're doing it and storing it. It's being used at the same time. Perishability, and this is all in your text. Please go back to target costing just to be clear on what they are. And there is no transfer of ownership as you're doing it at that time. And finally, heterogeneity. So please go back and look at these concepts. So which is why you saw in an earlier question, they tried to mix a third thing that wasn't really one of it. And I was saying to you, oh yeah, that's not quite there. But these are the 5 characteristics of services that make target costing much more difficult in the service industry. Okay, so that's 1 and 2. Let's go back to, let's carry on. This is going to do this to us. Let's carry on with 3 and 4 and 5. We're almost there. Here we are. Okay, so this is 3. So let's see what 3 is saying. Oops, this come here. So 3 says, which of the following is true? Which of the following is true? It's saying that Co may not be able to get any hold of comparable data available for the one-off jobs, and therefore setting the target costing will be difficult. Well, that makes sense. This is difficult. These are one-off jobs that are unique to what you do. You don't do them all the time, so that's quite unique, and that might be difficult to find. Some of the work available is specialists. It may be difficult to establish the market price for a service like this. So, and this is true as well. So, like I said earlier on, it only tends to be standardized products that we can get market prices for, because that's what we see. But once you're dealing with individual scenarios, it's difficult to be able to set that type of price situation. So we answer here, if you like, is C. Both statements are correct. Both statements are correct. And then the fourth one says, which two of the following are true? So let's think about this very carefully. I think I might be able to. Yes, I think I can just about. Yeah. So I want to know which two of the statements are true. So that's where I'm going. Which two of the statements are true? So which two of the statements are true? Target costing is useful in competitive markets where a company is dominant. Well, if you're dominant, you don't have to use target costing. You can just use cost plus. If you're dominant, you set the costs, you set the price, do what you like. The issue here with target costing is you have no power over the price. So you cannot be dominant. So this is not correct. Target costing is useful in a competitive market where price increases leads to loss of customers. Well, that's true, because the key point here is if you increase your price, you will lose customers. So you have to accept the price. You have to be accepting of the price of the customer and then work to that. So this, if you like, is true. You see, Co can ignore the market price and simply pass on the cost increases as it's done. Well, we've tried that, and you lose customers. So that's not true. Target costing would help C to focus on the market price of similar. Yeah, and then that's very true. So your answers here are this and this. The second and the fourth one are both correct. The second one and the fourth one are both correct. And then if we look at the fifth one, which of the following statements is, if you like, true? If after calculating target cost, you find there's a cost gap, it will then be forced to examine if this just makes sense, right? Then you're looking at what's going on. How can we reduce these costs? And if you cannot achieve any reduction in the cost of the cleaning products it uses, you should consider whether you can source cheaper non-chemical products from alternative suppliers. Well, that is true as well. I mean, you should consider it because you're trying to bring down the cost. I mean, you would think about maybe labor as well, but you would consider something you should think about, and that makes, I think, fairly makes sense. So both 1 and 2 are correct. Cool, great stuff. See you in the next question.